So the question is, why did I finally feel like I can be myself in Nairobi, Kenya? Why not London? Why not the UK? So welcome to the channel, it's your boy EO here. So yeah, I'm someone who inspires people from the African diaspora, whether that be from the UK, the US, to make the move to the African continent, to come to Kenya, to live your best life in Africa. So right now in the UK, I was watching a video on YouTube about a guy. He was talking about how you don't need to pretend to be someone else that you're not in Kenya. You don't need to pretend like you are living like a millionaire when truly you're not really making enough money to live that lifestyle. So this made me think about my life in the UK and all those times that I was pretending to be someone else. I was trying to wear the nicest clothes to impress people, to impress my peers, to impress my friends. I wasn't really being myself. And as a result, I felt like I wasn't able to fit in into a country, a society that doesn't really appreciate you, you know, and we can see it, from the high cost of living, from the way people treat you. Whereas when I was in Kenya, all the weight has been lifted off my shoulder. I finally felt like I was supposed to be the person I'm truly am today. It was basically like looking at my future self, how my future self would be, how I was really supposed to be. So what are the experiences that I had that finally made me feel like myself in Kenya? So what I've noticed right in Kenya was that in terms of my personal development, I was able to talk how I would normally talk, basically. The way you talk with your family and, your family friends. I felt like I could talk that way in Kenya. I felt like I wasn't restricted in the way I could speak. There was no limit. And of course, I can't just be saying rude stuff anywhere I go. I can't be like, oh well, because I can talk anyhow, I should be rude. No, no, no. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying that it means that you can be rude. No, I'm saying that I had more freedom when I talk. So what I'm trying to say is that, for example, if you was to tell a girl that she was attractive, in the UK, you would say that the girl looks peng or she looks leng. Whereas in Kenya, if you want to tell a girl that she looks attractive, you would tell her, she looks attractive or that she looks beautiful or that she looks really nice. So you don't have to feel that sense of pressure to talk a certain way when you're in Kenya. That's why I felt like I could be myself and I don't need to change who I am. And I feel like this has had a huge impact on my ability to socialize in the UK. I'm always afraid to socialize because I'm afraid that if I say a certain thing, I'm going to be judged on what I say. So that's one of the reasons why I felt like I can't be myself in the UK and I can actually be myself, abroad or in Africa, which is one of the reasons why I feel like if you're someone from the US, from the UK, and you feel like you don't belong in your country, it's most likely not going to be you. It's going to be where you are, what country you're at. I also felt like I was myself in Kenya because I didn't need to wear anything fancy or anything expensive to fit in. Of course, you can argue and say, yeah, people do care about the way you dress in Kenya or in Africa. Yes, you can argue and you can say that. And I'm not saying that you have to dress bummy and you have to not look after yourself. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, yes, you can still look after yourself and you don't have to be buying expensive clothes. I've been to some shopping malls in Kenya where they're selling high quality products for a reasonable price. I could be wearing a pair of Puma or Skechers. You know, I could be wearing those type of trainers and still get attention from women. So I'm saying that there are countries that don't really rely on the materialistic side of life. You know, there's been so many times in the UK that I have spent so much money on buying clothes that I don't even need, you know, to impress my friends, to impress the people that I talk to. It's not worth it because you're pretending to be someone that you're not. So when I went to Kenya, I felt like I could be myself, and this just improved my confidence. You know, this made me stress-free, happy. You know, I feel like this just relieved all the stress that I had back in the UK of wanting to fit in. This experience has impacted my life in ways that I didn't really realize. So for example, like it's given me a sense of satisfaction knowing that there are countries out there that are not as materialistic like the UK, like the US. And you know, this was just from that one trip to Kenya that made me feel that way. This made me feel like that I can be myself in other countries and still get the same results, you know, which taught me the value of being yourself and not pretending to be someone else. Because when you're pretending to be someone else, you're gonna attract the wrong type of people, you know, people that are not on the same wavelength as you. You're gonna attract people that don't have the same values, the same goals as you. And that's why it's so much easier to make actual, genuine connections in Africa, in Kenya, because people are not faking who they really are. They're happy to be Kenyan. They're happy to be African. That's why I encourage so many guys, so many women to make the move to Kenya, to Africa, because you're not going to have to pretend to be someone that you're not. This just takes away all the pressure that you need to succeed in the UK, in the US. And you'll be surprised with how much you can actually accomplish outside of the UK, the US, in Africa, in Kenya. I'm not saying that you can't succeed in the UK, the US. You can, but you have a higher percentage to succeed in Africa, in Kenya, or anywhere else in the world. So guys, if you like this video and you have anything to say, make sure to comment down below what you think. Also make sure to like the video and subscribe for more inspirational content to move to Africa, to move to Kenya.